So friends, to begin with, let me draw your attention to this fact that we live in a world today where there is absolutely no shortage of data. We in fact, I in fact have this feeling that we are, drowning in data, so much of data around us. And that brings me to an important question, that how do we make the best use of the data and drive our decisions accordingly? And to understand that, let's try to understand this through an example. That suppose you're looking at a report and you see this section there where you have absolutely no idea where has it come from. And to know where has it come from, it can be a very nasty question for many organizations to answer, because they do not even know how the data is moving within the organizations from one system of records to another. But if only we had answer to four important things, like what, why, where, and how about metadata, life would have been a lot easier. Like, firstly, what is metadata? And like we just discussed, it is data that describes a data or system of records. And believe me when I say this, it has the real capability to unleash the real value of the data. Why do we need it? Of course, we need it to make better use of the data and to drive our decisions. And it's only when we know our data, we can do better data management, we can do better access control management, we can do a lot of other things, and we can also do data discovery, not to forget, about which I'm going to talk about in my later slides. Where can I find it? It is everywhere, friends, right from our business glossaries to our data dictionaries to something as simple as my table structure. How is it linked? How is it joined? What is its structure, and etc. etc. All of these are basically examples of my metadata. How do I capture and manage it? Next question. Well, there are many tools available in the market that lets you do that. You have IBM InfoSphere, you have Atlas, you have Glue, you have Tableau. My friends have been talking about this all through their sessions. Coming to the next slide, I'm going to talk about and present you an excellent illustration on the power of metadata. And I'm sure you have used this tool that's called Google Lens, and which we know is something that's capable of scanning an image and presenting to you all the related information about that image. But interestingly, what we may or may not know is that even the Lens uses the metadata information at image's host site. And based on that, it determines the ranking and relevance of the related data it finds in its system, and presents the user the same data. That's the power of metadata. Moving ahead, we have talked about metadata, but it's also important to talk about the management of metadata and why do we need it. First and foremost need about managing the metadata is that organizations today are producing a huge amount of data. In fact, that reminds me that there was a survey that says that by 2025, approximately 463 exabytes of data would be created every 24 hours worldwide. Imagine. And with that much of data, it looks like we'll soon have to set up some kind of storage somewhere on some other planet. The jokes apart, that of course we are not doing right now, but if that is the volume of data we are dealing with, you can imagine the volume of data about data and the chaos it would create if we do not really manage it. Second, we want to be faster. Of course, we want to be faster because if only organizations know how to use their metadata, they would be able to launch new initiatives in shorter time. We can reduce our time to market factor. Lastly, say if only we have a 360-degree holistic view of my data, I know how the data systems are linked, how they are related, what are the synergies, I would be able to use it better. No, don't you think so? So how do we manage it? Next important question. See, we basically have classified data presence into three different sections, as you can see on the screen. We have ingestion stage, discovery stage, and analytics stage. And each stage takes care of its own set of metadata. Like ingestion takes care of lineage, its schema, its structural information, its access information, the audit logs. Similarly, discovery stage is something that can take care of the schema structure and the tagging, the tags we create on top of the data for our cataloging purposes. Whereas analytics stage is something that basically can use our audit logs and create some meaningful analysis for business time using the same. That's how we manage it. Moving to the next slide, we're going to talk about an important term called data cataloging. We all have been listening to catalog here and there, but what is that? And to understand catalog, let me first try to paint this picture for you. We all have shopped for our favorite items at Amazon. Say you're looking for a hand sanitizer or a DSLR camera or a smartphone on Amazon. All you do is you type in your keyword. And well, I think these days you don't even have to type, you just give a voice command and that's done, but we're not going there. Anyway, you type something, a list of items shows up, you click one, you see photos, you see related things around it, you see how it looks, what are the features. But if you've noticed, there's also a section called related items that basically typically shows items related to the item you are looking for, not the one you're looking for. Now, for some people, this can be a very, very useless thing. I don't want to look at this. Why do I need this? But Think of someone who's trying to have the whole solution around what he or she is trying to look for, and that would be really a fantastic experience for that person. And this is the power of metadata and the catalog we're talking about. And similarly, so is catalog, which is basically a system that gives you a first-hand entry into uh, say seek the information you want to look for. You can preview it, you can understand what else is around the data, how is it linked to that data, what is its lineage, what is its structure, where has it come from, and of course its synergy and relationship with the other data sets. That's data catalog. Moving ahead, um, now you might ask yourself this question, that what impact does a catalog may have on your business? We have been talking about it, but this is what the real answer is. See, it basically impacts our business in three ways. It impacts our data management, it impacts our data analysis, and it also impacts our organization's culture. Let's understand each of them one by one. How it impacts my data management, and this data management impact basically comes from excuse me, knowing your data. And when I say knowing your data, what I really mean is I should know what does the data have. Without even looking into the data, I should know what it have, what is its structural information, where has it come from, what is its lineage with the other systems, and very importantly, what is the quality of the data. See, mostly often it is seen that analysts face this problem, that they do not even know how the data quality is, whether it is usable or not, whether it is approved to be used or not. Does it contain mostly null values? What is the mean, max, median kind of thing in my data? What are the tags that you create on your data, and kind of things. And when you create these tags, they become very handy metrics for you. For someone, so that one can even not even look at the data and can say a lot about the data without even looking at it. On analysis front, it helps us by saving times and efforts. And why? Because we have seen that in traditional systems, a lot of time was spent, nearly 80% of the analysis time was spent in preparing the data. You prepare it, we cleanse it, we do a lot of things before we actually do the analysis. A lot of time goes wasted. Whereas if we have these kind of metrics and catalogs available to me, I do not even care. I can straight away go and do my main business, do analytics, and I can save a lot of time and efforts. And also this also enriches the quality of the analysis that I do. Lastly, the impact it has on the organization's culture is actually something that's an indirect benefit. Why? Because if we have such a good collaboration and communication between the business teams, we have such a good information available to me handy, business urgencies, I believe, can really be handled well, and thus it creates a very eased out kind of environment, which is why it has a very good impact on organization's culture. Moving to the next slide, we we will talk about AWS Glue as one of the data cataloging and metadata management tools. And if you look at it, friends, from a high level, Glue is just a serverless data integration service. But basically, it provides both visual and code-based interfaces to make data integration easier. All user has to do is, visually create and run and monitor some ETL workflows with just a few clicks. And once configured, Glue can run your ETL jobs. It can cleanse your data. It can prepare and organize your data. And as soon as the data becomes available in these sources, it can just use that. Now, interesting thing about Glue is that it also has an entity called crawler, and as its name suggests, it basically crawls through the multiple data sources. As we can see in the left side of this diagram, it crawls through these data sources, the file system, the databases, and extracts the data as well as something called schema and other indicators from my data sources, its definition, its jobs, etc., and create something that we known as data glue catalog. Now, these catalogs typically store information about tables, their definitions, their joins, what is the schema, what are the tags, etc., and some more meaningful insights. And these catalog that it creates during the extraction, that becomes my central persistent metadata repository for all the registered data sets in the system, regardless of where they are located in the system. Another interesting thing about these catalogs is that they can even automatically compute some more statistics on the data, and these statistics can come really handy to the users as they make the querying into that data really effective and cost effective and very efficient. Apart from this, catalogs, they kind of also maintain a history of the schema versions so that one can understand how your data has changed over the time. I think that answers one of the questions from our audience today, that, that if I look at the catalog, I can always know what are the schematic changes that have been done to my data since it was first registered. There are some more tools available in the market for data cataloging and management needs. They're called IBM Watson, GCP Catalog, Data Catalog, etc. Moving to the next slide, we are going to come to another very important and very interesting topic that's called data discovery. And to discuss this topic, I often like to give this analogy of an iceberg of ignorance, as we all know that, where there's a very good comparison done that what we today know about the data can be compared to the tip of an iceberg, which is actually negligible is compared to the huge amount of data. And believe me when I say this, it's actually a huge amount of data that lies unidentified, unanalyzed, unseen beneath the surface of the water. Similarly, in enterprises today, we have seen that there's a lot of data still analyzed unknown and has a huge potential to present a meaningful insights to the business users to drive their decisions. And this is why we actually have see data discovery provides a mean uh, to find hidden patterns and trends in the data as we have seen as we see on screen. In fact, there's a survey by Gartner that says that data discovery is going to be the next big thing in the data trends analysis. Okay, so data discovery can help us with BI analytics, but can anyone guess how it actually also enables us to comply with the regulations? Let me answer that question. Say if there's a system that can do some kind of deep analytics on the data catalogs I have created and help me possibly figure out what is the sensitive data in my network, where is it residing, what shape is it in. This will not only help me in the governance but also complying with the regulations, because then I can figure out whether that sensitive data is protected or not in my network, whether it has been within the allowed geographical locations or not, what destination has it traveled to, whether it was allowed or not, what are the misplaced or misused copies of the data that sensitive data, and many other things. And now you see that is the power of the discovery, right? In fact, there was another survey that says by 2021, excuse me, it will be imperative for most of the, or I think all the US-based companies, businesses in California, to implement a smart data discovery to remain compliant with CCPA. I think that's one of the surveys. I think you would want to go and read about it. Now talking about the types of data discovery, they can be of two types: guided and smart data discovery. The main difference between the two is just that guided data discovery is something where business asks questions and machine answers, whereas smart data discovery is something where machine or the system analyzes the hidden patterns and presents it to the business for usage. That's the two kind of data discovery. Coming to the next slide, which basically talks about how data discovery has basically evolved over traditional civil system over the time. While we have talked about how the traditional analytical systems, they were very good with respect to the use on the volume, variety, and velocity of the data, like all the big data analytical queries we have been talking about. But think about it, they basically allowed only a very limited depth of exploration. Whereas on the other hand, we had products like data science products, where they were very powerful insights that they were capable of giving, but they were very slow, very complex, and it was not to forget, it was not everyone's cup of tea to deal with. It was very difficult to implement. So this all led to emergence of a new set of users, as we know them, citizen data scientists, who can basically use these kind of data discovery tools, which in contrast to the traditional systems and the data science products, they were easier to use, and they can also provide a very powerful insight into the data without even having any prior knowledge of the data science. Moving to the next section, this is the last section where we are going to talk about Amazon QuickSight as one of the discovery service, which is scalable because it is AWS service, which is scalable and serverless. But most interestingly, this service is powered by machine learning. How it is good? See, it basically can allow user to ask questions in a very plain, natural English-like sentences in its search bar. You can just type in your sentences in the search bar, and that tool can provide you answers using its inbuilt a machine learning powered natural language processing capability that's called Q, that basically can convert your sentences into relevant questions and can process data and present to you. Now, it also lets user to have a very deep insights on their data without any prior data science experience, as we have just talked about. QuickSight being one of the mostly used tool for gaining insights like forecasting, churn prediction, etc. And in case you are wondering what is churn prediction is one of the most popular big data use cases in businesses that involves knowing the customers who are likely to cancel a subscription to some service very soon. That's the kind of prediction it does. Another good feature of QuickSight is that it is even capable of converting your analytical summary from the dashboards to plain English type sentences. Usually dashboards have some graphical things and some data here and there, but this tool can convert that into that summary into some plain English type sentences and present to you, so that all the users who are going to use that summary, they have a consistent understanding of the results. That's the power of this tool. There are some more tools available in the market for guided discovery. There are Tableau, TipcoFire, IBM Smart Discovery, etc. That can be used for the same purpose. I think with this we come to this to the end of the session, and I would like to conclude by quoting a statement from IBM Watson's product owner's statement, which reads that the real success of a business, it lies in uncovering the why part of what happened in your business, and that is the power of data discovery. That data discovery has the power to do that. With this, I would like to conclude the session. Please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section. Over to you, Surbi.
Yeah. Thank you, Mohit. And thank you, Manoj, for taking and sharing the insights about data lake storage. We have got a lot of questions in the Q&A section, which our SMEs and speakers are like responding to one-on-one. However, I would like to take here two questions which have been liked most by the folks here, and I believe that it will help majority of the people in the audience joined us today. So the first question which I would like to bring upon is the best compression technique for Parquet and Snappy.
Sure, Subhi. Let me take it up. And thanks to bring up this question. This is a very awesome question. I would say, I mean, there's no best or worst techniques to compress any file system. But if I talk about specifically with Parquet definitely have a better compression technique with Snappy. And why so? Because with the Snappy, we also get the files to be splittable format. If I talk about gzip versus gzip or lz2 compression, what happens, they definitely give you a better compression as compared to Snappy, but the files will not be splittable. And when I'm saying splittable, that means if file is splittable, then you can achieve better performance, better storage efficiency of those files. So yes, to answer the question, with Parquet, Snappy is the best compression technique just because of it's also provide me compression as well as splitting of my files. I hope that answers the question. Thank you, Surbi.
Sure, Abhay. Thank you so much for throwing light on that question. The next question which I would like to bring here is, what is file lock and block lock? Somebody wants to know what is a file lock and a block lock.
I can answer that question. Sure. Yeah, Manoj, you want to answer that?
Okay.
Please.
I can answer. So basically, so while applying any logs, right? So depending on the operation, so if I am applying, doing the write over any of the file, so if I use the file storage format, then at that point of time, my process or the thread would takes the lock on the complete file, and no other process would be able to write on that particular file at that point of time. So due to which that process or thread would be in waiting state. But in case of the block storage, at that point of time, the locks would be taken on the specific blocks where I am intended to write, and all other blocks of the even on the same file would be available to access or to write or to do manipulation by any other processes or threads. So in this way, we are increasing, we have an increased throughput in case of having a block storage.
Okay.
So I hope I may able to answer that.
Sure. Even I feel the same. So if folks, if you have any questions further, you are free to post that on the Q&A board. It's still open. Meanwhile, going ahead, I would like to inform you that it's time for the second quiz. Please keep a check on the board. I have just posted the link for the second quiz, which is covering data lake security, governance, storage, and catalog. Again, the points to be like the mandatory points for same are still the same, that yes, the links will be open till 7 p.m. For the winner, like to capture the details, it's important for you to mention your email ID so the winners can be contacted through that, right? So please save this link along with the link of quiz 1, and we are looking for your participation. Now, since we have come to an end of the event, first, I would like to take upon that what all openings do we have in Impetus and for what all locations, so that you can reach out to us and we all can work towards same. Apart after this, I would be like announcing the winners of the active participants who have been really active in this event today. So let's just see first that what we are open for and what we are hiring at Impetus. So we are hiring for different locations. As you can see on the screen, it's for Bangalore, Indore, either NCR, that is Gurugram, Noida, or US. So the position are mentioned. If you think that you yourself are talented enough and would like to explore the opportunity in Impetus, you can write and share your CV at career@impetus.co.in. That is again the ID which is mentioned on the slide. Apart from that, if you feel there is some skills which are not mentioned here, but you still want to explore the opportunity, do write back to us on either Pathmakers ID that I would be sharing soon with you all, or share the CV directly, and our technical acquisition team would get back to you on same. Okay, so now I'm like over with this. Now let's have the announcement for the active participants. So the active participants for the event today has been Vivek Singh, Sangeet Jain, and Kshitij. So congratulations to all of you. I would request you to please share your email ID with us on the chat box. It will only be visible to us. It won't be published anywhere. So do share your email ID. We would be contacting you soon for the rewards. So that's all, folks, for the day. And thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for being such a lovely audience. It was nice interacting with you, and it was nice giving you these sessions. Hope you found the event to be very informative and insightful. You can write back to us at impetus@pathmakers.com. We would love to hear from you. Have a happy weekend. Thank you.